racing as Drumont heads the field in towards that first turn. Now this is going to be interesting to see who will be able to get their braking points right, because it's quite a tight and nadgery first corner, decreasing radius as they come down the hill. And will anybody be able to make any moves in the opening stage? There's already been a hip and shoulder. Yeah, you've got Kokkerman going into the back there of Kai de Bruyne. Has a look on the inside once again. He did this last time around. Sort of forces the door open there on Kokkerman. And again, Moreno still vulnerable here to the advances of Kokkerman. Out of the final turn they go, and Jura is inviting himself to the party. Moreno knows that goes for a defensive line down to turn 1, but I think Kokkerman's going to have the overspeed to try and sweep around the outside, or is he? No, that Lamborghini still pretty handy in a straight line, but he runs it a bit deep with that shallower line into the first corner. Kokkerman goes through, Jura's now on his inside, and Moreno goes from 4th down to 6th in the space of one corner. What he did going in towards 130R. But then he gives a tap to Moreno there, and then Moreno goes into the side of Jura.
Oh, sorry.
More contact between Miyazono and Jura. Supra versus Porsche, then 7th and 8th place looking to try and change hands. Behind them you've got Sam Cardinal as Moreno goes a wing mirror to wing mirror there with Lucas Benelli through the first corner. Benelli on the outside, he's going to have the inside line. It's okay if he goes onto the grass because he's got four-wheel drive, but he does get the better eventually of San Moreno and goes through for 5th. Drumont knows that Serrano is coming through as well because he's going for the defensive line. Pulls back towards the right-hand side of the circuit, the left-hand side as we look at it, and does manage to retain the lead for now. Can Serrano invent something? Through in towards the final chicane, goes for the outside line as Drumont defends on the inside. Side by side they go, the Frenchman versus the Spaniard. Drumont has managed to hold through on the race lead as they exit out of the final turn, and they will come towards the checkered flag unless Drumont makes a mistake. Surely he's going to take the win, and he does in the sprint race ahead of Jose Serrano, with Valerio Gallo holding on to 3rd position. What is he going to look like when the checkered flag falls in 35 laps time? The lights go out and we go racing for the grand final of the Nations Cup here at Deep Forest Raceway. In reverse, over the crest of the hill we go and through into the fast sweeper of turn 1. Look as well at Gallo in the background, putting the pressure already onto Jose Serrano. Kokkerman's in the mix there as well. Does Gallo have a big send on the inside? No, he cannot quite make his way through, but Jura can on Lucas Benelli and does manage to get the better of them. They're almost 4 abreast on the exit of the first couple of corners. A first corner incident under investigation there as well by the race stewards, but Jura sort of the big winner really inside the top 5, and San Moreno up 1 and 2 places respectively. And here comes Jose Serrano for the race lead on Kilian Drumont. Gets a bit of a tap from the Frenchman who tries to repay the favour, and he is then back through at the very next corner.
So here's a replay of what happened. This is lap 1. Paul Jura goes up the inside of Benelli, gets hit by Carazza. Benelli just gets shoveled out wide and then loses all the places. What a shame for Benelli.
Bono again closes up onto the back of Kilian Drumont. Is he going to try and think about a move? I wonder if he might do actually on the inside.
Yeah, he does.
It does. So I said we weren't going to see any moves being made, but Serrano throwing caution to the wind and going through for the race lead.
So here's a replay. So on board Paul Jura, Kokkerman in front here. We're going to dive to the inside, go late. There it is, and the gap is there. We take it. Kokkerman gives us the space, and through we go into P4. Lovely move.
Do they go for the hard tyre in this middle stint? I imagine it's a case of what one driver does, the other driver's going to do. They're all going to have to take on fuel, crucially, as well. So this could see a change of positions, especially between Serrano and Drumont and Gallo, depending on how much fuel they take on board. Now you've got Serrano and Drumont, who are on the hard tyre, so they've decided to get that out of the way in the middle stint to try and play the longer game, to then have the soft tyre at the very end of this race. But, of course, they're going to have to make a longer pit stop for their final time in the pit lane here. And you can see just how much more pace Gallo's got underneath him around the outside here of Kilian Drumont. He's going to make this move stick as they go into the tunnel. That's a brave move there for Valerio Gallo as he draws alongside the Frenchman. Drumont's trying to defend it. Up the inside he goes, and he's through and releases himself into 3rd place as Drumont slots down into 5th, with Miyazono picking his pocket as well.
Gallo there now starting to get onto the back of Serrano. Goes for a huge move up the inside there from another post go. Gallo using that soft compound tyre, getting the car stopped, and now will go flying after Benelli.
No litres of fuel left on the tank of that car, so off of the soft tyre goes Valerio Gallo. 33 seconds the gap between himself and Kilian Drumont. The one saving grace for Gallo here could be if these two start fighting, and it might just give him a bit more breathing space. Serrano knows that. He's in the slipstream here. He wants to challenge for the victory and for maximum points. He's 2nd in the standings, and he now goes through to 2nd in the race against the Frenchman, down into the hairpin at the end of the back straight. About to head, and he's eyeing it up. He's lining it up. Gallo might try and defend the line and does so. Forces Serrano to go the long way around the outside, off onto the curb, and he'll have greater traction and greater grip when he gets there. Tries to push him towards the wall on the outside and does just about manage to defend the position. position, but he's going to be a sitting duck surely through this next series of S-bends, but it's so difficult to go 2 by 2 through there. Serrano tries to invent something, plays him like a fiddle, switches it back on the inside, and Drumont finds the gap and goes through as well. So Gallo loses 2 places in the space of 1 corner, and now it's game on for the win between Jose Serrano and Kylian Drumont.
Was there any contact? No, I don't think there was. I think Gallo just went in too deep trying to defend there. There was contact between the two of them there. Oh, and Drumont just had a little wiggle trying to get on the gas there. That would have been the lead for him there. There it is,
there
1 second penalty. So the stewards there deeming Serrano at fault for that incident, which hands the race to Kylian Drumont. So we're coming on to the last lap now. Serrano will have to serve that penalty on the back straight.
This could open the door, like you say, for Valerio Gallo to hold on to the podium places and possibly challenge for second position as well, because it's not only the time you lose, it's also the time you lose gaining, getting back up to speed, and Gallo walks through the door, possibly Samuel Moreno as well. So from possibly winning the race to maybe not even finishing on the podium for Jose Serrano as well, with his countrymen attacking him down in towards the right-hander. Moreno's got no stake in the championship as it stands for now, but he has got a stake in trying to get himself back onto the podium position. Side by side they go, and the young Spaniard goes through, and Serrano nearly loses it there, and also loses a place to Ryota Kokkonen. He will come through out of the final corner to take his first win in the Nations Cup in the Gran Turismo World Series for 2026, ahead of Valerio Gallo and Samuel Moreno.